got very drawn to your songs, on why you came up with your songs and the background to it. Just to introduce myself a little bit, I am based in Maryland, but I am a native of Manipur, which is in the northeastern part of India. A very conflicted region, and I kind of grew up with sounds of guns and bombs and things like that.
Sure.
So I can really feel, from where your inspiration came from, and I wanted to hear more about it and talk more about it so that people will be more aware.
Okay.
So to start with, before we delve into your album, if you can share a little bit about your introduction, your background, childhood, about yourself.
Yeah. My name is Tomas Doncker. Hi, everybody, wherever you may be, and peace now. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Grew up here in the city, and I've been playing guitar since I was 12, and doing music since I was 12, and I knew from when I was 12 that this is what I wanted to do, without question. My father, of course, wanted me to be a lawyer. That didn't work out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that didn't work out. But nonetheless, he was very proud of me before he left us. And I've been very blessed to be around and mentored and by some really phenomenal people. Bill Laswell, bassist, producer, Grammy winner, Pulitzer Prize winning poet Yusef Komunyakaa, to name two. But the list goes on. I mean, Yoko Ono, James Chance, Ivan Neville from the Neville Brothers. In short, more than ever, I feel, there's a very famous African musician named Fela Ransom Kuti. I'm sure many of you have heard of him. He's a legend and a real inspiration to me. And before he died, one of the things he said was, music is the weapon of the future.
Music is the weapon of the future.
Of the future. Now, I didn't quite fully understand what he meant at the time, but fast forward at least 10 years or more, and I really understand now. With the world being so fast-paced and social media this and tech that, and for God's sake, I'm doing an interview with you. You're on the other side of the world. I'm doing it from my phone. This is
right.
Okay. This is the modern world. Star Trek is no longer a joke. I mean, it's real. We're here. We are hit with so much information and disinformation constantly, that the only way I feel that one can truly influence someone from their head and their heart is if they choose to let you in. Okay? If they choose to let you in. And I feel the most effective way is through music, because if somebody likes your song, they will listen. They will invest, 4 minutes, right? Because they like the beat, right, or they like the guitar, or they like, the voices or whatever. They will listen to what you have to say. Not just hear it, actually listen to what you have to say. And it is our responsibility as artists in this modern world to send out only life-affirming positive messages. Only. I mean, I don't have time or interest in making music about nothing.
So your music and what you have so far always has something to do, or it's related to social issues, and it has a message.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has a message. Not everything is about, society per se. Sometimes it's a spiritual message, right? Sometimes it's a message of just love. Or even sometimes it can be a message of, let's have a good time. But it's about something positive. Or, conversely, it's a warning about something negative. Okay? It's a very, very powerful thing right now. Your music it's more important than ever, even though in the marketplace, it has been devalued. Nobody pays for music anymore, and that's horrible. You know, it's horrible. We
Right.
couldn't, we
So,
could,
I
you
mean, what
know,
you're pointing out is, you know, right now with all this, it's good that we all have progress and the digitization have come in, but at the same time, a lot of people are kind of pirating and
exactly.
music is going freely, and, you know, the artists are not being paid
Right.
or not compensated, you know, for their work.
Exactly. Therefore, the quality has gone down because the value of it has been taken out of it completely. I mean, for God's sake, you can make a record. You could put it this way, whether it will be any good or not, I don't know. But you could make a record on your phone. In order to enlighten, it is best to entertain first. Okay? So nobody wants to hear anybody stand up on a box and say, you know, I'm right. Listen to what I have to say, blah, 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 blah. No one wants to do that, right? No one wants to hear that. Everybody thinks they're an expert on everything, you know. It's very sad. It's very sad. But I find it best when you mix an idea or message with some really good music. People tend to notice it. They tend to take it to heart.
So it's not only the lyrics or the content, but the music and the whole package needs to be there for entertainment, and that's how it draws the people, and, you know, people follow your music.
And there you have it. Yes, absolutely. So that's what I'm about.
So let's go back to a little bit about the album, The Mess We Made.
Yes.
I want to get into the background of that. And for our listener who don't know about the Charleston Massacre and, you know, how you got inspired, if you can brief us a little bit on, you know, on the details and how you as a artist got inspired or triggered, which event triggered you to come up with this album?
Absolutely. Here in America, to be specific, okay, there have been in the last, I mean, it's not a new issue, okay? It's really not. It's been going on ever since the Pilgrims landed and slaughtered the Indians, okay? It's ever since then, okay, it's been going on here. The whole post-slavery, whatever that means, racial tension here has just been growing. And, well, not growing, but it's because of this new technology. We see it and know everything all the time, okay? So there's a lot of stuff going on that we wouldn't hear about 20 years ago. But now, if somebody whistles, we know about it, you know?
Because of, now we know more about it because of the technology. Earlier, people didn't know about it. And, you know, I mean, we do read in the books, but it's not as much covered as now it is because of the technology.
Right. Now you get pictures, video. It's all the information and disinformation, right, at once, all the time. And, you know, just in recent history, Trayvon Martin, you know, Ferguson, you know, I mean, it's all these incidents going on. Eric Garner in Staten Island here, you know, that's just naming three. There are many, many, many more that were not as prevalent in the press, but were still out there. It just seemed that every 3 days something else was happening. It was just, I mean, it was really, it's still going on. Okay, it's still going on. It's not like it stopped. Well, those issues, as horrible as they all might be, I kind of get that. I get it. It's somehow, it's not surprising, you know, Obviously, I'm against all of it, right? Obviously. But it's sad, but it's not so shocking. Okay? I know where I live. I live in America. America's a very racist place. It always has been. Okay? There are some good things about America and some bad things about America. You can say that about anywhere you go. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is true. Okay. But when the Charleston Massacre happened, I couldn't process it. I just didn't get it. It was like someone called me up on the phone and said, Tomas, your grandparents have just been shot at church. You know, it's just like, really? Mm-hmm. Who would want to go into a church and shoot a bunch of old people praying? Why would anyone want to do that? That doesn't do anything. You know, that's just evil. It's just evil.
Right.
I couldn't deal with it. It freaked me out. It really freaked me out. Okay. And that made me, I mean, I couldn't leave the house, Monica. Seriously, I lost it. And I work every day, all day, okay, without fail. I canceled work, okay, for 3 days, studio, and, you know, I'm a full-time musician, composer, producer. This is what I do for a living. It's not a hobby, okay? I had to stop work for like 3 days. I couldn't, you know, I was crying. I got sick. I got physically sick.
Right, and some of the report which came out, some of the dialogues, like just to quote it, the shooter was quoted to have said, I have to do it. You rape our woman and you're taking over our country and you have to go. So there was a lot of hate and, you know, hatred in the whole report.
I mean, even what he said, I understand that. Because I know I have met those kinds of redneck people in the South. I have met them. But that would mean that you would go kill a young black person, because an old black person is just going to church. They're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not bothering you. They're not hanging out with your women or whatever you say. They're not taking your jobs. They're on their knees in church. They're not a part of that conversation. They're just not.
Right.
Okay? On top of it, they invited him in, okay, to pray with them. Okay? Okay. I also found out the day after the shooting, because, you know, it was all over the news, where every piece of, like I said, all the information comes at you. And there was a CNN report, an interview with this guy's roommate, his housemate, who was black. Okay? I don't know if you know that or not, but he lived in a house, he shared a house with two young guys. One of them was black. It was like his best friend. Okay? And they interviewed this kid, and he was like, he was freaked out. He was like, I have no idea what happened. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how this happened. This is not the guy that I hang out with every day. I don't know what happened. You know, and they're asking him, well, surely you must have seen signs of, you know, of, he's like, no, we were hanging out yesterday drinking beer. I mean, I don't get it. Mm-hmm. Well, a few days later, you know, they checked the guy's computer records, and it was that he was going on the web, okay, checking out all kinds of neo-Nazi hate websites. Okay? Now, it just hit me so hard that here's a kid. He's a kid, right? He's a kid, okay, who is just so filled with hate that doesn't exist from any incident in his life. It's not like he got beat up by a bunch of black guys or something, and now he was going to get even. Okay, it was just information he found through all of this technology. You see what I mean? All of the hate.
He did not have any history of personal,
Nope.
events or anything, but it's all the information, all this hate information which is there in the internet that had filled his head.
Exactly. And boom. Anyway, I had to do something, okay? So I started writing songs. I was afraid to leave the house because I was so angry. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be in a situation where let's say someone pushed me by accident, and I reacted badly. I was that upset, okay? I was upset. I was afraid. It was just really crazy. So I figured, okay, what's the best thing I can do for myself? Okay. And so I started writing songs just to get the poison out of my system. Okay. I didn't create this record. Really, I had no intention of making it into a record. I really didn't. It was not my idea to try and explain what's going on in America and the world. I'm not interested in all that. That's too much to take on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to necessarily do that. But I had to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it was your reaction as a musician, and that was the only way you could deal with the situation and deal with yourself, deal with all the thoughts coming out.
It was therapy. It was pure I was saving myself, my own sanity, okay? Because I was pushed to the edge emotionally, okay? And I played a couple of the songs for my partners, and they were like, wow, this is amazing. A friend of mine, his name is Eamon Lababidi, he's a very well-known music critic. A few days before the Charleston Massacre, he wrote an article about where is Curtis Mayfield, where is Stevie Wonder, where is Bob Dylan, where is Bruce Springsteen? How come none of these supposedly, well, of course Mayfield's dead, obviously, but why aren't, big artists commenting on our time? Mm-hmm. This is what I was saying to you before. People are making music about nothing. It's about nothing. I thought art and culture was supposed to reflect the times in which we live. But anyway, his article was about that. So I called him up and I told him how proud I was of him for putting that out there. Asking the question, hey, where are all the artists?
Right.
We live in this time. It's like, in theory, Monica, the climate in America, and I would hazard to say in a lot of the parts of the world, it's like 1967. Vietnam War. It's the same kind of feeling. Now, I was only 5 years old in 1967, okay? But from my study of history, it was the same kind of thing. People were poor, you know what I mean? There was war going on, a lot of social injustice happening left and right every day. And what happened? That was the golden age of pop music, man. Pop music spoke about what was going on,
It's good that you brought up this point that a lot of the celebrities and artists who are very popular, who have a lot of people following them, people look up to them. They have a responsibility to speak up on social issues, and their voice and their stand would be heard by the people. And
right.
You felt that they didn't do that. And I guess not only you, many other people.
Many. So
another thought, what came to me when I listened to your song and the context it was coming from, you kind of put all your rage and emotions into the song and not react it in a very violent way. And I do see in situations like this, young people do react in a violent way, again, generalizing the whole racial profile. But you did that in a very positive way through your song, conveying the message in a very non-violent way, and I really appreciate that. And
thank you so much.
I'm here, and you and me, like I said, I wouldn't know about this, and I know about this only because of your words and your songs, and you do research. So yes, you're right that music plays a very important role. It has a message, and it has a way of connecting to people.
Yeah.
So what is your message and opinion to people who react to any of this racial events?
One of the lyrics on the record is from the song called "The Revolution." Okay, it's the bridge. I wrote, Malcolm Martin must be brokenhearted. Could it be we've thrown away everything they started? Why is it a crime to love one another, to seize the time? Okay, I think that's pretty good. I don't know. Okay, I had a good time with it, but it's coming so deep from my heart. It would be very easy for me to say, we have to be peaceful. Well, that only got us so far. Malcolm X was on the other side of it, and what he said was, by any means necessary. Okay? Whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
I am answering your question, by the way. I'm just trying to give it a historical context. Okay?
Right.
One of the missed opportunities for mankind was the meeting between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Okay? Before they both got killed, they had spoken and had planned a meeting. Okay? And I think that was part of the reason why they both died so quickly after that. They both were killed very quickly after that. Because if those two guys had gotten together, we would have a different world. Not just black people, all people. It would have been a different world. Okay? Absolutely. Gandhi, I could, you know what I'm saying? There are just people who have given their lives to show humanity a better way of doing things. And right now, the scary part, is that it seems as if because of all this inundation of media constantly, and I will say this, especially in the West, in America, there's a disregard for history. Okay, a blatant disregard of history. There are so many important people who have done so many brave and forward-thinking things, and most young people, they have no idea. They only know what they saw on Facebook today. Okay? If we are not aware of history, we are doomed to repeat it. Okay? We're supposed to look at our past in order to make our future better. So, in answer to your question, what do I say to someone? What I did to avoid I'm not a violent person. Okay, I'm not. But I knew that weekend, those 4 days, I had to stay home in my house because I was so afraid that if I had any interaction that was negative, I was going to be violent.
You were on the edge.
I was right on the edge. And anybody who knows me knows I'm not that guy. Okay, I don't do that kind of stuff, ever. Okay? But that's how far I was pushed. Fortunately for me, I have music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once again, music saved my life and sanity. And I think that's why people are resident, you know, the record is really getting great responses, you know, and ultimately when we decided to release the record, I had a moment by myself. I was like, oh my God, this is not at all what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? It's not at all what I wanted to do. So I had to make peace with the fact that maybe I'm gonna have to share this very, very private moment, okay, with the world. And so I asked myself, well, okay, what do you want from this experience, Tomas? Really? And I immediately said, I don't want any money. I detached from any commercial intentions in this completely. And believe me, it's, you know, it costs me money to make this thing. Okay, I need money.
Right.
I'm not a wealthy guy. You know, I do music. You know, it's my living. I love it, but it's also my living. So for me to do something and say I don't want any money for it, you know, it's a little crazy, right? It's a little crazy for me to do that. But I realized that was never my intention. Okay.
Album, you know, whatever revenue which comes up, it will not come to you. Are you donating through some charity, or where would the fund go?
I haven't decided that yet. It's too early. I mean, it just came out, you know what I mean? So it's too early to tell, you know.
What,
yeah, but spiritually,
is that you didn't do it for money.
Right. But what I did do it for one thing. There was one thing that I wanted. Okay? Because if you give, you should get. That's how this existence is supposed to be. Okay? I give, I receive. I give, I receive. It's called humanity. Okay? And it doesn't matter where it comes from, right? It's like I might give Steve something, and then I'll receive something from Sharon. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't always come back
maybe not from the same person.
Right.
Correct.
It's just the universe. That's how the universe really does work, right? So what I wanted back from this whole experience is happening right now. All I wanted was a conversation.
Awareness.
Okay, a conversation.
Acknowledgement.
Yep, I want people to talk amongst themselves about stuff. That's all I wanted, was for this music to get people talking, and more importantly, listening to each other. Because I feel that we are so far, we meaning not the United States, the world is so far away from healing. Okay? We need to have a conversation first. Okay? People have to get a lot of stuff off their chests right now. And then when everyone has calmed down a little bit, okay, now let's talk about how we can really make it better for everybody. Okay? We can't have that conversation yet. We can't. Okay?
So you feel that there are a lot of people out in the world with a lot of pent up things in their heart who doesn't have an opportunity to speak out and, you know, share what is in their heart. And that is the first step to any conversation.
Absolutely.
Your album has been released not for a long time, but you have been getting very good response from
tremendous responses.
Yeah, so can you share about the different groups, like who has responded, just to give our audience an idea that yes, you know, there is humanity, there are people who are listening, and there are people who are voicing your concern.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got a great piece written about it in the Huffington Post, okay, which, as you know, is a pretty big outlet, okay, and they support our work, my work in general. They've been very supportive. But they love the record, and what's interesting about, and there's a lot of a lot of information. Our PR partner, James Moore at Independent Music Promotion, that's how we got connected. You know, he's amazing, and he really believes in this record. It means a lot to him, and James, thank you wherever you are in Canada. We really appreciate your support, man, because he understands, you know, the importance of getting this conversation started, you know, and using, you know, the mess we made, you know, as the soundtrack to this conversation. Okay, it's very important, you know, and what's great is that most of the pieces that have been written about it, and there've been, I mean, like, seriously, about close to 100 reviews already, a lot. Okay, a lot. Mm-hmm. I made this record to talk about what's going on in the world. And most of the reviews have really said, the music's amazing, Tomas sings great, but
the
message in the music. And so I am so grateful for that. You know, I don't need my ego stroked about this thing. I don't. You know, I do music, I live music. Okay, you know, that's that. Next, you know, what's going on in the world is way more important than whatever career I might have. It just doesn't matter, you know. It really doesn't matter, you know. And
yeah, but you know, I just want to appreciate that it was your music which initiated and brought out the message to a wider audience.
Well, thank you.
You know,
I appreciate
to community,
that.
Yeah, to community of different ethnic groups who believes in peace and also believes in the humanity.
Right. Well, here we are, right? You and me, Monica, we're talking because the music brought us together. You see?
Right.
And that makes me very, very, very happy. Okay, I'm very, very grateful
so powerful, for that. And I think it's a great way of protesting. Protest of music is very powerful, which can cross borders and places, and it can reach everywhere now with the digital world.
Right, exactly.
So thank you.
Yes, see, this is the good thing about this digital existence, this cyber existence, you know, is that positive information can be spread just as quickly as negative information. Yeah.
You know, with positive content, but at the same time, like you said, we do have to acknowledge and identify the other bad stuff, but not react in a violent way. And by reacting in violent way, it's creating more violence, and the world is getting crazy with the violence.
Yeah, hate brings hate. That's just how that works. Okay, you don't fight fire with fire. It doesn't work. Okay, everybody loses, you know, and we know that, right?
Yeah, that's great. And I think you spoke a great deal about, you know, what your intent was, and it's getting there with the response you're getting. So I do want to shift the interview to another question.
Okay.
Like you said, you know, you have been doing music, and music is your livelihood, and you have traveled places. So I did look up and I wanted you to share a little experience and your experience about traveling all over. I read that you have traveled in Japan, China, you know, and you have done a lot of work. So just as a global artist, wanted you to share your experience.
Well, I mean, in short, you know, as a young boy, when I committed to doing this, that was the real reason, right? I was like, wow, if I get good enough, I could see the world. If I was good enough, right? It was when I was 12. And so now I've pretty much, not everywhere, but I've been pretty much around the world. It's been wonderful. It's just been a wonderful mind-expanding, spirit-expanding experience. And I'm going to talk about something briefly that's coming up next week. I'm going to Japan on Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm performing 6 shows with James Chance and the Contortions, he's a legendary New York City artist. In fact, he is the man that gave me my professional start when I was 18. Okay, and he's also signed to my record label. now, okay? That being said, I lived in Japan for 4 years, about 20 years ago, and I haven't been back since. And so I've been contacting, people, as many as I could find, on Facebook, and told them that I'm coming back, and the response has been overwhelming, okay? And my time there, when I went there, it was one of the most wonderful times of my life. It really, really was. I mean, I can't even tell you, it was life-changing. It really was. And so to be able to go back and perform, now, right, 20 years
that's
later,
really exciting.
It's thrilling. It's thrilling. Here, let me give you a short story. There's a young man there, okay, who I didn't know, and the Blue Note Club, they posted an announcement about the upcoming shows, okay? This is about a month ago, okay? And so this young man, I won't mention his name, he sends me a friend request on Facebook, okay? And so I see his name, he's Japanese, and I always check out the person before I just accept, right? Because sometimes you can get hacked, So I see that he's a guitar player. He's got guitar pictures and all kinds of stuff. So I figure, oh, okay, maybe he knows what I do or whatever. So I accept. The next day, I get a direct message from him saying how much of an honor it is that I accepted his Facebook request. And here it is right here. And that he has learned how to play the guitar by studying an instructional video that I did when I was living there.
Wow.
20 years ago. Okay? So I was like, whoa, I had forgotten I even did this, okay? Mm-hmm. Much less, I certainly wasn't thinking they were still selling it, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I figure, okay, well, this guy must be my age, right? Maybe he bought it then and whatever. So I go back to his page and I see that he's 23 years old. So I'm like, wait a minute. That probably means that he bought this video within the last 5 years. So they're still selling an instructional video DVD that I did 22 years ago. There. So I message him back, and it's crazy, right? So I message him back, and I say, wow, I'm so honored that you studied the video that I made. Why don't you come to the show, as my guest, right? He writes back, he's freaked out. He's like, oh my God, it's such an honor. It's like I'm Jimi Hendrix or something, right? So I'm like, look, man, it's no big deal, I'll put you on the guest list, I'll get you dinner, we'll hang out, I want to meet you, right? He's like, can I tell you what day, is it okay if I come any day? I said, of course, we're doing 6 shows in 3 days, you're welcome to come to any of them or all of them, please, So he says, I will message you tomorrow my plans. So I said, okay, cool. The next day, he messages me and he says, okay, I bought my bus ticket. I'll be at the show on the 24th. So I go, bus ticket? Wait a minute. How long a bus ride are you taking? This young man is traveling 8.5 hours to meet me in Japan. 8.5 hours.
Human connection.
I'm like, I was sorry. Seriously, I started to cry. I couldn't process. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing. It was just like, whoa, this is really a beautiful thing. And that is the power. That is the power of music. You know what I'm saying? He's never met me, but he thinks he knows me. He feels that he knows me because he's sitting there studying everything I have put my life into.
Right. That would be a very exciting moment to take a picture.
Believe me, I will take it. I'll post it on Facebook. Believe me. Okay, I will send it to you.
I'm very interested too.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
The union of both of you.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I mean, aside from all the other people that I know there and I've been in touch with, you know, they're excited that I'm coming to, you know. But this young man, out of nowhere, you know. See, music has that kind of power. It brings people together without question, man. It transcends language, politics, you know, color, finance. It's the common language. We all speak it. We all love it, no matter what you might try to say or do. Everybody loves music. Okay, that's that. Okay, and it doesn't matter what style or genre. You know,
right?
It just, you know, it's in the air. It's part of who we are. Period.
Been an interesting story, and I look forward to seeing your reunion.
Yes.
Pictures.
Yes.
It would be a great moment.
Yes.
So good luck with your travel.
Yes.
Is there any other thing which you would want to mention or share, which I haven't asked?
It's so much, Monica. Listen, I hope we can do this again. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. Okay. And as I said, True Groove Records is my label, truegroove.nyc. Okay. We have some really, really exciting releases coming up. A new album from a gentleman named Charlie Funk, an album from one of the most important trumpet players in the world, Mr. Mac Garlahan, who used to play with David Bowie. He's got a band called Mac and the Hispanic Mechanics. That's coming up. A brilliant album by a young lady named Phoebe Neer, okay, who I've just written a musical with. It's called Diana and Navy and the Golden Tooth. And that's also going to be put up this year, as well as her solo record. And a fantastic new album that we're almost done with from my partner and also artist on the label, Miss Marla Mace. It's called Miracles Lost and Found, okay? And that's coming out, I believe, at the end of March, okay? And I'd actually like to connect you with Marla, because she is a phenomenal, you know, artist and person and humanitarian as well. And she's traveled to China to perform. In fact, she received a Messenger of Peace award from the UN. They flew us over there to perform. They had a International Peace Day or something like that. I forget the exact details, but it was a wonderful experience, you know. And she runs the label with me, and she's definitely someone you want to talk to, you know, about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would love to. I would like to magnify the voices of people who are working for peace, despite, you know, very trying situations where you are at the edge of controlling yourself not to be violent, but still having that faith in humanity. You know, you are reacting in a different way, but to bring peace and understanding.
Absolutely. But at any rate, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been great talking to you. Thank you, Monica. You take care. Okay?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Peace.